because all of our projections that we've done so far are all based on flat funding, meaning no additional increase. We expect increase. There's a law that says we have to have this thing, have us back to fully funded by a 7-year period, but in terms of our 2021 projections right now, we're being real conservative and just kind of waiting for the governor's address in February 25th. But this is what we got over the last 3 years in terms of state aid. So middle year, we got 20 million. The third year, 1920, we got additional $13 million. Sounds like a lot of money, but when you have a budget of our size, $13 million in additional state aid is really not a lot of money. So this slide is a little funky. The first section over here is what we did actual in terms of raising taxes. So like in 2008, you see this, there's no increase in, this is our tax levy right here. This is the year, this is the tax levy. So this year we didn't raise our tax levy. And in 2009, we raised taxes 4%. Then you see all the zeros and all those years in between. So in 2017, we raised taxes 6.4%. So we raised taxes 6.4%. We picked up an additional $2.4 million on our budget. And then the next 2 years, there was no tax increase. And then in 2020, we raised taxes 14%. We picked up an additional $6 million. So this comparative tax levy slide here is kind of what we should have been doing over the same period of time, right? Like most districts raise taxes between 2, 3, 4%. This is what we should have been doing. So had we been raising taxes 2%, 3%, 4%, we just put, well, 4 was the real number for 2009, and 14 was the real number for this current year. But had we just raised taxes 2%, and then you got the 6.4% in 2017. So had we been just kind of doing a steady state increase in taxes year over year, we would have picked up an additional $20 million by just incrementally increases taxes, a low number over a period of time, just steady state increase in taxes. Instead of doing what we did last year, 40%, like that's a big jump right there. We don't want to do that. This is where we need to be. So this is what we did. I'm calling this fair share. It's not our true fair share. It's kind of what we should have been putting into the bank every year that we did not do. So the difference between the two is $9 million. But it's really more than $9 million because we didn't get this increase. We didn't get these increases, and these were cuts. All these years that we didn't increase, these are people and programs that are being cut by not having that steady state of tax increase. And this is a slide that we normally don't show, but we had a meeting last night. They said show it. I think it's a good slide. Thank you, commissioners. And a lot of times when we do comparisons, and even in terms of how we do things in terms of business, we try to compare us with Newark. And this is a very similar slide. So over the same period, 2008 to the present, there's the 4% that we raised, and here's the 6.4 and the 14%. So over the last 12-year period, we increased our taxes $9.9 million. Now, I understand Newark's a different animal. I get that, but as a percentage. But you see what they did, the steady state. I mean, I'm just making up a term, steady state. But they were consistently raising taxes 2%. They picked up $39 million by just doing, for whatever reason, they raised taxes 6.5%. But that might have been what's called bank cap those years. But well, that was bank cap, or it could have been healthcare adjustments. It could be 2% on top of something else. The total number came to like 5.8, 6.5%. But you see, they were consistently raising taxes 2%. And we have to get to that point there where we're consistently increasing the levy so that money's going back to the kids and back to the schools. And when we don't do it, it's not going to the kids, it's not going to the schools, and other things are happening. So we got to get to that point. We got to start thinking long term, not 1 year at a time. And that, I don't know what was going on those years, but we got to do it for the kids. That's the bottom line. And that's what we're here for. This slide is even more funky, but I thank the commissioners for access to do this because a lot of times we get blamed for raising taxes. I was in a PTO meeting one time and the parent said, you know what, I'm tired of you guys raising taxes. I'm like, we don't even raise the taxes. So these are all the tax rates for the county for the school and for the city of Patterson over the last 25 years. Without getting into all these different data points, bottom line was that the county had raised their taxes $27 million over this period of time. The city of Patterson raised their taxes, the school system raised taxes $2 million over the same period of time. Now, what this number doesn't include is called debt service, but I don't want to confuse you guys. But we raised taxes a total of 2% over this large sample size of 25 years. The city of Patterson raised their taxes 143% over the same sample size, same time period. So we've been cheating our kids, and the counties are raising taxes, the city's raising taxes, and our kids are suffering because we don't raise our taxes. So every year that we're doing this budget, that I'm allowed to be your business administrator, I'm going to ask the board to raise taxes because we have to do it for the kids. So this is a slide that we're probably going to keep for a future presentation because it tells a bigger story about how we got to where we are today. We're not going to get out of it overnight. It took all this time for us to get to where we are today, but we got to start building for the future, and not just going 1 year at a time. Don't raise taxes this year because whatever reason. Well, everybody else is, and the kids are getting killed. So, again, thank you, commissioners. Again, we had a special fiscal meeting last night, and this was asked of us. It was hard to get this data, but we got it, thanks to my secretary. But this is good information. So again, we talked about where the money comes from and where the money goes. In schools, the bulk of the money is going towards salaries and benefits. More than half of all the money that gets spent over the year is going to salaries and benefits. And then you're also committed with charter schools and Passaic County Tech. So charter schools, without getting into all that, that's $63 million that we go to charter schools, another $20 million PCTI, special ed is $40 million, transportation is another $19 million, facilities is $28 million. So there's not a lot of play in our budget for, it's committed. All this stuff is committed. This is another $9 million budget. Other is, some other non-salary stuff. But this is where the bulk of the money goes. Salaries, benefits, charter schools, special ed, transportation. This is all statute. This is statutory. The kids got to get to school. In district and out of district. Facilities is a big part. We got to make our school system better. When we say that, it means hiring good people. That means having compliance with special education. That has good transportation, good facilities. All that is part of making the school system better. Instruction and programming, trying to get our kids to achieve, increasing graduation rates, security, keeping our kids safe. So this is where the money goes. And Ms. Schaefer in there, middle school going up there. So this is just a pie chart of the previous chart. This is just this right here. It's all broken down here. So you see here salaries. Most school districts, salaries and benefits are a little bit higher than 42%, but then you've got this and this right here. The bulk of that's 55%, 60%. Most districts around 70-75% of their total budget is in salaries and benefits. I don't know what that says. Looking at Charles, he might be looking at renegotiating the contract. And then there's your charter school, PCTI. It's all just a breakdown, just a breakdown of the previous chart. And it's just a percentage breakdown of the previous chart. And then, when we submit our budget to the county, we have to meet certain goals. We have to make sure that when we submit it, that we're maintaining and improving our school system, that our budget reflects that in our budget. Like, what are you doing as far as, it includes everything. It includes how we hire people. It includes, promoting people. It includes the academics. It includes the athletics. It includes facilities. Like, this encompasses a whole lot of things. But then when you do your budget, these are the boxes that we got to check, that the county looks at. Raising standards. Are you improving graduation rates? What are you doing different? What are your new initiatives? And we'll go into that a little bit later on. Building professionalism, improving your people, career development, pathing your people, educating, training. The board's going out for training. We do professional development. We do team building. That's building a professional environment. That's changing the culture and climate in your school. Well, protecting your investment. Are you changing filters? Are you doing preventive maintenance? Are you just doing emergency repairs, doing shutdowns? Are you not doing any planned work? Are you looking forward and taking a big problem and chipping away at it? I think, for instance, an example is we have, like a lot of schools need auditoriums where we start to do 1 or 2 a year. Security is part of that. We're chipping away as opposed to looking at a big problem and say, well, we can't do all 20 schools, so we do nothing. Well, let's do 2 this year. Let's do 2 next year. Let's do 2 after that. You got to chip away at this stuff, and you got to build for the long term. You also know that we're doing an ESIP program. ESIP program is Energy Savings Improvement Plan, and people get saying, well, where's the savings on that? That is more about if you don't do this ESIP thing, it's going to cost you more money in terms of your energy costs and your heating and your lighting. So new LED lighting, new solar panels. That's an investment in the district. That's a huge investment in the district. And there's a lot of good things in what's happening in Patterson Public Schools. Again, planning for the future, not always thinking about today. 2 years, 3 years. Sometimes you say 5 years. 5 years in this day and age is a lifetime. But you gotta be thinking 2 to 3 years down the road all the time. Do your budget, looking at this year, you gotta always be looking ahead. Like next year, we already know this cost coming off the books. So like we're starting to plan for that. We do a lease purchase, and it's 3 years, 5 years. We got the one-to-one program. That cost is coming off the books. We got the new vehicles. So there's stuff coming off the books that we're like, wow, this is good. So again, when we do our budget, majority student learning standards, we got to hit those categories. It's just not plugging in numbers. It's like making sure that what you're saying you're going to do is meeting a certain standard, and that's what we try to do every single day. And we actually, in our budget meetings, we battle to make sure that we're hitting those key spots. In terms of instruction and program, which is kind of the main reason, is preparing kids and getting them ready for the future. These are things, obviously pending budget approval, that we're trying to do into our 2021 budget. Improve student achievement. We got to definitely increase our math and language and arts. After-school programs. These are things. Some of these things are ongoing that we are already doing that we want to continue to do. Music instruments. We want to get new equipment into our existing schools, and we want to open a newcomer school for 9th grade. We talked about building professionalism. We got PD in there. We got textbook adoption. We want to increase our PSAT scores, our ACT scores, SAT scores. And these are things that we constantly talk about in cabinet, we talk about in budget reviews. Intervention, we have the ALEKS program for math, and we have guided reading for improving our reading. And financial literacy, we have a couple different buckets that we're trying to address regarding financial literacy in our school. We have stuff that's going on right now, but we also want to bring out some other more robust things in the future regarding financial literacy. Again, facilities, this is just a piece of what we're trying to get for next year, not all. But EWK, there's painting going on right now. There's science labs that we definitely are going to be doing in this current budget year and in the future. School number 2 needs new windows. Steam line replacement for JFK. School 6 needs a School 6 roof. What's not in there is some auditorium seating that we also want to do for some other schools. We just got some doing a couple schools over the winter break. And then there's school locks, security cameras, which is definitely going to happen this year and next year. And then you're talking about doing a shade maker for a couple of years. We need to make that happen. But again, these items are all pending budget approval. When the budget does get approved, does not mean that these items are going to be in the budget. We might say, hey, we can't do wheelchair lifts at Rosa Parks.